Shalom, this is Yehudit from Tzfat, now in Colorado. I want to share with you the movements for the 20th day of the 40 days of challenge and centering. We're right in the middle. It's Tisha B'Av, and it's Malchut at the level of the Nun. What do I mean by that? The way I count these 40 days is to take the divine name Adonai backwards as my 4 main columns of sefirot, from 10 sefirot, from Malchut to Keter, then from Keter to Malchut, and then Malchut to Keter and Keter to Malchut 4 times, going up and down and up and down the ladder of the sefirot. Coming down from Keter to Malchut is the process of creation. Going up from Malchut to Keter is the process of the spiritual path. So having come off of 40 days of blessing, and then had the challenge of the 17th of Tammuz and the shattering of the tablets historically, and a couple other tragedies in the 17th of Tammuz, we have moved through 2 days there where I take a rest from the 40-day count, or 1 day really, the 18th, because sometimes the 17th of Tammuz happens on the 18th. If the 17th of Tammuz is on a Shabbat, you do not fast on the Shabbat, but you do it the next day. So on the 19th of Tammuz, I start a count that includes the very much of a change of energy between 3 weeks between the 17th of Tammuz and Tisha B'Av, which are more the challenge part accentuated in our lives, has been in our Jewish history up to Tisha B'Av and the destructions of the temple and other tragedies. And when the spies came back from spying out the land in ancient times, and the people decided to listen to those people who spoke with a sense of the fear and other reasons for not going in the land, but 10 of the 12 spies not only felt like grasshoppers to themselves compared to the giants of the land that they went to, but they felt that the giants saw them as grasshoppers. And that's one of our challenges, big challenges, how we get beyond trying to think we understand how others see us, or that we can get into other people really. We can do deep sharings, but knowing and acting on what we think someone else is thinking about us is one of the ways we can often make huge mistakes in our lives. And that we need to learn to center ourselves and know who we are from the inside out. It's a lot of work, it's a lot of mistakes, and it's a lot of reading Torah carefully helps, because we have a lot of mistakes demonstrated to us in the Torah to learn from. So this is a process we've been in, working on how to create our center and the strength of our inner self that's connected at part of God, and by strengthening that and be able to meet challenges in a grounded, centered way. We're now on Malchut of that journey down of this level of creating. We went from bottom up and came down again through all the sefirot, and now we're at the place of receiving from everything above, but also manifesting and being able to manifest. And we want to have vessels strong enough that in the heat of the summer, and many people I know are experiencing enormous heat right now. Right now it's very cool in the early morning in Colorado, but it will get hot. Of being able to have a vessel that can contain what comes our way acknowledge it, and also learn whatever lessons we need to pass them on to others, so that we are containers and receivers who also give out to the world, that our vessel is a receiving vessel and a giving vessel, that we receive Hashem's breath in Malchut and we give out. After it comes through us, gets transformed by us, we give out an energy and a chemical that helps others. It helps trees give us, and we feed the trees, and we feed the flowers, and we feed each other, ideally. And so, also just to go into my color system, I've been working primarily with the Zohar colors, this coming down from creation. And it's different than the rainbow system that I use for the sefirot count of the Omer, and much of what I use naturally, because that's what I was first taught by Rabbi Zalman Schachter Shalomi. And I also play with the other. So, and Moses Cordovero has some writings on the colors that I've been basing some of my costumes on, as I talk about them. And so the Zohar influence is wearing a blue skirt and having blue for Malchut. And also my headscarf has blue with some black, because black sometimes is also Malchut by some systems. And in the rainbow system, which I still keep in mind, brown is the color that Zalman taught us. And this is a necklace, I don't know how well you can see it, of the whole sefirot chart. It's a brown wood necklace, light wood, with white dots for the whole sefirot tree, because Malchut holds everything from above and includes everything as it manifests. And the main color for this whole time of challenge and centering coming down has been that of the letter Nun, because the Adonai that is an overall focus for this time, the entrance to the spiritual path, and also the Adonai we use as the name to substitute for the Yud-Kei Vav-Kei for Hashem's name, because it's accessible. It means Lord, among other things, and to experience lords and being lorded over, and learning to be the Lord of our own person is part of the spiritual path, being in control in a positive way, in the nurturing of the self, I say with the self with a capital S. It's the soul that's a part of us, the neshama that's part of God's soul, that's in charge of our decision making. And that's what we've been trying to cultivate. And in that system, and in the Zohar itself, pink is usually the color for Netzach. And I use Netzach and Yesod today because Nun, the letter that I'm using coming down, this whole 10 sefirot, is the pathway, according to the Ari, between Netzach and Yesod, between purposefulness and endurance and a sense of the eternal patterns and where we are in that, what piece of the puzzle we are in that, and Yesod, the foundation that pulls the whole world of Yetzirah, the whole world of feelings together, and is able to communicate that, is able to relate from that place. Yesod is connection and communication and intimacy. And we live in this world and thrive when we have connections with others, and when the parts within us are connected in a good way, supporting the greater large self. And that is in the Zohar system in orange. So my outer blouse has a lot of orange, but it also acknowledges the rainbow system because it has yellows and it has red. And in the rainbow system, Netzach is yellow and Yesod is red. In Zohar, Netzach is pink, light pink, and Yesod is orange. So that's why I'm wearing the colors I am today, to remind me that it's Malchut, of the letter Nun, in the world of Yetzirah. And that it's a time that has brought us great tragedy as a nation in the past, but it's also, within it are the roots and the seeds of the Mashiach and the redemptive energy, and within ourselves we can create that and manifest that by learning how to center and begin to make decisions and open our awareness with that center in control. That's the big focus for today, a large focus. It's a day of fasting for many people because there's a sense of, I think, being able to control our physical desires with something that's more important is one of the reasons we fast, that our need for food can be put aside in order for us to recognize how we can have control of our physical needs and desires. And there are many times when we have to change our patterns of our natural instinct because of some greater purpose that is really to include that aspect of ourselves, not to deny it, but to recognize it, to listen to it, listen to our body and what it says, notice it, take it into account, and sift it through our whole process of why we're doing what we're doing, and take into account the greater purpose and the greater sense of wholeness and how to maintain our personal sense of wholeness at the same time. A lot of talking. Movements now. So we've been doing the Nun, and the Nun is this beautiful subtle letter of, my knees are slightly bent and I'm hanging from a string, and I step half a step forward with my left foot. I'm working with my left first in front of my right. So my heel is by my toe. My hands come back to back, then point into myself, come up. My forehead, I make like wings with my elbows, and my fingertips point forward, and then my weight goes mostly onto my front foot. A very subtle shift. And then it comes back. My hands face each other, go back to back, come down, and then I bring my foot back. And I'm where I started. Then the right foot. Back to back, in. When I get here, there's a subtle connection between my fingertips and my front toe. Recognizing the invisible connections between things in this world is very much a part of the growth, spiritual growth, that there are many dimensions of reality, and that it's important to acknowledge those dimensions and learn how to connect them and integrate them with who we are and in our decision making. Now, what I do for the nikudah, Malchut, is I don't have a nikudah in Malchut. Malchut is when there is a blank space below a letter. So in this case, what I've done is step to the side, have my knees slightly bent, my hands at my side, a little bit out and relaxed, my shoulders down, and I'm hanging from a string, and I'm allowing myself to be breathed. Not only allowing, Hashem breathes me, whether I want to or not. I cannot hold my breath and kill myself. As long as Hashem wants me to be alive, I will be alive. So I pay attention to my breath in a way that's totally receptive as much as I can. I don't actively decide when to breathe. I wait for the breath to come in me. And for me, that often means it comes all the way down. And it's an indication that I've learned to relax the whole chest part, my body, because I do have asthma at times. My breathing is not easy sometimes. By allowing myself to be breathed by Hashem, helps my whole body. I'm focused on the energy between the earth and the bottom of my feet. And then I can feel, and I hope you can too, the energy coursing through my whole body as I am being breathed, not just in the passages of the actual breath. So that's the focus for Malchut and the healing for the shattering that has happened in the past on the 10th or the 9th of Av, and so on to the 10th of Av. Tomorrow we will also have a Malchut, but we'll be starting to rebuild, and we'll get to that on the 21st day. But right now, close your feet, and we're going to start the pattern of breathing and moving to the Nun within the breath as the space afterwards, all the way from Keter, internally thinking of Keter, the crown, the place of isness, just this moment as the reality that connects us to eternity, and then moving into the thought process, which is already less than Keter, less than isness and nowness, and the Chokmah as the holistic one-pointed vision, and the Bina on the left side as understanding and noticing the multiplicity without emotional attachment. And then the 6 sefirot of the world of Yetzirah that we've been working with, of Hesed, which is represented usually by the right arm, of the giving out, being like Hashem and giving out into the world, and Gevurah as receiving, and the strength that comes from having a good vessel, of knowing our priorities and keeping to them, and not with such a strictness that we hurt ourselves and damage ourselves, but with a flexibility, the strength of the vessel that can know what comes first and what comes second, that can discern between options in a holistic way, using our Bina, our understanding, to go into a situation and be able to make those judgments of how to set our boundaries. And then we go into the Tiferet, the balance of those two, which is the heart space, which is balance and harmony and beauty, and knowing how to give and how much to give, which time, and all those combinations of what we learn by giving and then receiving and making priorities, making boundaries. And then we go into the Netzach. Why am I here? What's my purpose here? What's my individual piece of the puzzle? And how does that manifest, and the inspiration that comes from that, our own personal creativity that only we have. And then the Hod is the aspect of bringing them that sense of Gevurah into accepting what we're given and being able to channel God energy in every situation, like Aaron the high priest, making peace between people, yielding to the situation, acknowledging and thanking for what is, and with that gratitude and with that purposefulness, combining that into Yesod and connectedness and our intimate relationships, and also in our just whole way of connecting with everything within ourselves and outside of ourselves. And caring for the environment is a part of that, caring for the world, caring for the larger picture, and bringing all of our energies together so that we may bring it into manifestation with Malchut. Malchut, Yesod is sometimes associated with the tongue and Malchut with the actual speaking with the mouth. So the whole pattern is often related to speech and how do we take something from an initial experience all the way through our mental process and our emotional process to the physical world of Asiya and actualization. So let's begin. Nun forward on the left foot, half step, coming up. There's Keter. Coming back. And then stepping to the left. And letting ourselves be breathed. Then back again. And stepping forward with the right. This is Hawking. And letting ourselves from the center into the right. Letting Hashem breathe us. And close. And Bina on the left. Step to the left. And close. Stepping forward with the right for Hesed. Stepping to the side and being breathed. Gevurah. This time I'm going to step to the left for sefirot. And cross over from the left to the right. The breath. And on the right for Netzach, stepping forward. And on the left, Hod. To the left. And to the right will be a Sod, and I'm going to do the crossover. To the left for the breath. For the active Malchut, stepping forward to the left and crossing over to the right. Moving the foot back and receiving of Hashem's breath as I bring the energies down from Keter all the way down to the earth and into the earth. Receiving in order to give. So I bless us on this day of Tisha B'Av, the 20th day of the count of 40 days of challenge and centering, that we may really find our center and keep our center strong, and recognize when we're off the center and come right back to, I am breathed by Hashem. I have Hashem surrounding me. The universe supports me in a fundamental way all the time. And if I can recognize that and align myself with that and tune into that, God willing, I will have a healthy, integrated, purposeful, and in the imitation of God, giving life that also knows how to receive in a way that gives to others. It connects us with everyone in a harmony and beauty and all good things. May we be so blessed.